That's what it's called?
It comes from a Persian word.
No.
Lying song in Hebrew.
No, it's something about like sugar and stuff.
I mean, shakar is sugar.
Actually, they would seersucker in our backyard, but I shot him.
Oh, wow. That's
Yellow belly seersucker.
Wow. Always told me. Ours is not
You get this weird.
Yeah, but not anymore because look. Here, I'll put
Gentlemen, shall we make some music? Start to fly away? How are you? Doing great, thank you. Not at all.
be seated. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Shalom, Malachei, Malachei, Malachei. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Shalom, Malachei, Malachei,
Among the Jews who came out of Egypt with Moses and Miriam, who escaped from Pharaoh's slavery, were two of my ancestors. Call them Beryl and Shmerel. They weren't great Jews. They were just, Jews. And they had worked their whole lives as slaves of Pharaoh. And as a slave, they looked only downward. They never looked up. That's what a slave is trained to do, never to look up. So when Moses brought them across the Red Sea, and the sea split, and a people took their steps toward freedom, Beryl said to Shmerel, "What do you see?" And Shmerel said, "I see mud." He said, "We had mud back in Egypt. I don't know what all this liberation stuff is about. There's mud here, and there was mud there." And when they came to Mount Sinai and God spoke words of covenant, Shmerel said to Beryl, "What do you hear?" He said, "Well, someone shouting instructions." He said, "They shouted instructions in Egypt too. I don't know what all this revelation stuff is." And when they finally reached toward the promised land, Beryl said, "How do you feel?" And Shmerel said, "My feet hurt. It's been 40 years." Is that they're still wandering around there to this day. This is Shabbos Hagadol. This is the Sabbath that precedes Passover. We're going to talk about slavery and freedom, about good and evil, about power. Slavery is a terrible state of being, but the slavery of the body is not as bad as the most difficult slavery of all, which is the slavery of the mind. When the mind is so trained to think in certain directions that it can't think any other way, when you can't look up and see what is in front of you, because you've been trained that this is the way to see the world, when you can't imagine that you can be anything than what you are, or that the world could be anything than what it is, when you start to convince yourself that what is what has to be and there's no alternative, then you've become a slave. And that is a terrifying place to be. And then when someone comes and wakes you up and says, "Look, you're a slave," it's terribly painful. So Pesach comes to free us not just of the body, but to free us to look up and to see what is right before us. And the first thing that you need to see are the miracles of life. That's why at the heart of the Pesach Seder, there is this song. You all know this song by heart. Dai Dayenu, Dai Dayenu, Dai Dayenu, 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 which means any one of these miracles would have been enough. But to know you had a miracle means you have to see it. And that's the great task of Passover, to free your mind and able to see the world in completely different colors and completely different ways. This is Shabbat HaGadol. This is when the task begins. This is when we begin to open our eyes, to see the miracles that surround us, and to be able to express a word of gratitude, of thanks for those very miracles. We begin with songs of Kabbalah Shabbat, songs of thanksgiving and praise. Lechu Neranena, Psalm 95, page 15.
page 19. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu, Romemu Adonai Eloheinu,
Elie Wiesel tells a beautiful story about one of the nights he lived in the Auschwitz concentration camp. He was a slave laborer to the Nazis. And at the end of a long, long, exhausting day of work, the men of his barracks collapsed in their beds, lights went out, and then one of the men said, "Do you know what tonight is?" And they answered, "What is tonight?" He said, "Tonight is Simchas Torah. Tonight is the holiday we celebrate with the Torah. We need to celebrate." And they said, "But we haven't the Torah, we haven't the synagogue, we haven't the tallis, we haven't anything." But there was a little boy in the barracks, and someone shouted to the little boy, "Shmulik, did you ever learn any Torah?" And the Shmulik said, "Yeah, I was in Cheder, I was in school as a kid. Say a line of Torah." So Shmulik recited one line of Torah. Breshis bara Elohim et hashamayim ve'et haaretz. In the beginning, God created heaven and earth. And the men in the barracks said, "We have a Torah. He has the Torah in him." And so they scrambled out of their bunks, and they picked up the little boy as if he were a Torah, and they danced. And they danced around the boy, and they danced around the boy. If you want to know who we are as a people, we're a very peculiar people. This you probably knew. Because we're a people that will never abandon hope. It's the one quality that you can't take away from us. Today is not fixed and tomorrow can be better. You must believe in the possibility of redemption. That is the ultimate lesson of Passover. There's a line at the end of the first half of the Seder. You'll find it if you go through the Haggadah. It's the most important line in the whole Haggadah. V'chol dor v'dor chayav adam lirot et atzmo ki'ilu yatsav Mitzrayim. In every generation, each one of us has to tell the story in the first person. I was in Egypt. For two reasons. One, you have to know that evil exists in the world. We've tasted it. So you won't close your eyes to the evil that you see in the world. And two, even more important, because we crossed the sea together. We were all there, all of us. We crossed the sea, not our ancestors, not people long ago, far away in a galaxy far away, not somebody else. We were there. We saw the sea split. And if we saw the sea split, we understand that history can split. And that tomorrow can birth something brand new, and something redeemed, and something quite remarkable. That is the essence of who we are, in every circumstance, even in a concentration camp. Now, this has been a very difficult week for us all. And the news from Ukraine is brutal. And this week, there were more murders in Israel, 3 more last night in Tel Aviv. 3 young men, 2 27-year-old friends from school and a 35-year-old father of 3 were murdered for no reason, that they were out drinking one night, celebrating the beginning of springtime. Terrible news. And the news of American politics makes you even more nauseous. But you can't give up hope. You have to believe that there are the seeds of redemption planted in the world, and the possibility that we can make of this world something better to give to our children. That is the eternal hope of the Jewish people. And so in the middle of Kabbalah Shabbat, there is this hymn, little medieval hymn. It's on page 21. L'cha dodi likrat kala p'nei Shabbat nikabela. Come, my friends, and we're going to attend a wedding, a reunification between God's kindness and God's power. And when God's kindness and God's power comes together, we bring it together. When we bring kindness and power together, we can bring redemption to the world. That is the great dream. I'll show you one interesting thing about this hymn, and then I'll shut up and let us pray. Each of the verses, by the way, each of the verses spell out the guy who wrote the song. He was very clever. He put his name in there. Turn to the second page. Turn to page 21, and look at the second to the last verse. The second to the last verse. Yaminu smol tifrotzi v'et Adonai taritzi al yad ish ben partzi v'nismecha v'nagila. Left and right, right and left, it spreads out. And God is redeemed, or God is exalted, Al Yad Ish Ben Partzi, by a man who is the Ben Partzi, Ben Peretz, that's David, king of Israel, who is the ancestor of the Messiah, V'nismacha v'nagila, and we will give joy. Now what does this mean? This is very clever, and my friend Reuven Kimmelman, who's a great teacher, showed me this. Yaminu smol tifrotzi, left and right. Well, it just sounds like a dance that my wife might do, but it actually has profound meaning. I want you to imagine the days of the week written in a sentence, okay? Everybody imagine the days of the week written across the top of a pager, right? So Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Shabbos. Everybody got that? Come over here to the end of the week, right? So I got Thursday, Friday, Shabbos, Sunday. Everybody see that? Okay, where are we? Shabbos. What's to our right? Friday. Whose holy day is Friday? The Muslims. Who's to our left? Sunday. Whose holy day is Sunday? Christians. Yamin usmol. Right and left, we are all united in a dream that one day the world will be made one and brought to peace. And on that day, we'll all understand that we are the children of one God. Nagila v'nismecha. We will give joy and we will give...
And since you're standing, please remain standing for the call to worship, the Baruch Hu on page 28. And that's right. You may be seated. Umavere yom umevi laila, umavdil ben yom uvein laila, Adonai tzivahot shemo, Echad v'gam tamidim l'chameinu le'olam va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai, hamariv aravi. Alat olam beit Yisrael Tasir mimenu le'olamim Baruch atah Adonai Ohel Yisrael. Let's join together on page 30. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם להיות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך והים שמוע תשמעו על מצוותי אשר אנוכי מצווה אתכם היום. המים על הארץ ויאמר אדוני אלוהיכם אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
Pesach comes once a year. Thank God once a year, because once a year I couldn't clean my kitchen more than once a year. But every single day in Jewish liturgy, every single day we escape from Egypt. Because that event was so seminal, so important, so at the heart of what we are, that we have to go back every single day. And we have to remember this moment. One moment. We were slaves. Our parents were slaves. Our grandparents were slaves. Their parents were slaves. And we had no hope except to be slaves. No hope. And then our children would be slaves. And their children would be slaves. And there was no way out. And then suddenly this fellow Moses comes and says to us, pack your things, we're leaving. And we're Jews. We didn't believe him. He said, watch. And the Nile turned to blood, and frogs came down from the sky, and gnats and lice and locusts and darkness, and we started to believe. It takes 9 plagues to get Jews to believe. And by the 10th, we believed. He said, pack your things, eat some roast lamb, have a little matzah, we're leaving tomorrow. That night, he woke us up and said, we're going. Let's go. And we ran, and we ran, and we ran out of that country, and we ran as fast as we could, and we stopped at the Red Sea, and at that moment we thought we might be free. And then we turned around, and there was Pharaoh coming after us again. And we screamed to Moses, and Moses said, watch, one more miracle. And he led us through the sea. And on the other side of the sea, we turned around, and Pharaoh wasn't chasing us anymore. And then we turned around the other way, and we perceived the vast expanse of the open wilderness. And for the first time in our lives, we breathed as free people. The tradition says that at that moment, the people of Israel wanted to sing a song of thanksgiving to God, but they'd been slaves so long, they'd forgotten how to sing. They'd forgotten how to sing. And so God sent the birds of all the world to come and teach the Israelites how to sing. Which is why in Eastern Europe, on this Shabbos, there was a wonderful custom that you put breadcrumbs out in front of the synagogue, and birds would come, and they would eat the breadcrumbs as a way of saying, thank you for teaching us how to sing. And the first self-conscious act of a free people was to sing a song. And it sang like this, and this is the original melody. Cantor Barron has gone all over the world doing this research, and this is the original melody of this. It's in your prayer book on page 32. It really is the original.
This
is the melody. Miriam taught this to the people of Israel because she saw the movie.
It goes like this. You have to sing with me, though, okay? Because all the people sing it, right?
We all sang it together. Shabbos, we pray for peace. That's all we ask for is peace. Protection for those who sleep at night, hoping for a better day tomorrow. Peace from all that threatens us. Peace from all that steals away life and happiness and brings sadness, disease, and destruction. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom. Let us lie down tonight in peace. V'amidenu malkeinu l'chayim. And raise us up in the morning to life. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Spread above us a shelter of your peace. V'taknenu b'yetza tova milfanecha. V'osheinu l'man shemecha. V'yagein b'yadeinu. V'yaser mi'aleinu. Oyev, dever, v'cherev, v'rav, v'yagon. Remove all that threatens us and all that disturbs the peace of the nighttime. Protect us, God, beneath the wings of your presence. Let us go out into the world and return again to life and to peace, now and always. Praised are you, God. Sukat shalom aleinu v'al kol amo Yisrael v'al Yerushalayim, who spreads a shelter of peace over us, over all your people Israel, and over Yerushalayim. Amen. We rise all together for Shamru.
Shamru v'nei Yisrael at HaShabbat, at HaShabbat. L'asot at HaShabbat, l'dorotam, l'ritolam. B'nei Yisrael, Kushabehu Vailamin Gormata Shirata
A few moments of quiet personal prayer. The words of the Amidah begin on page 35. As you finish your prayers, you're welcome to be seated.
Asher, tell us about that instrument, would you?
Yes, so this is the most modern iteration of one of the most ancient instruments we have, the oud. Oud means wood in Arabic, and it is an instrument of wood. It is the great-great-great-great-grandfather, you could say, of the instruments around me, the mandolin and the guitar. This instrument developed, I don't know, they say, possibly as long ago as 3,000 years ago in Mesopotamia. There were instruments like this, and it spread from the Middle East, the Moors and the Sephardim, across North Africa into Spain, where eventually it split off into different family members. So you have the lute, the guitar, the mandolin, but in the Middle East, in North Africa, Eastern Europe, the Balkans, this instrument, the oud, still reigns supreme, and this is the latest model. They took the bowl back and took a pear, if you've ever seen the original version, and they just chopped it up. So this is a slim summer lute, I guess.
So it wasn't electric in the old days then?
No.
No. Hand cranked, I see, the hand cranked oud.
Actually, it was gas first. And that was, yeah, so- there you go, there you go, there you go. There you go. Ready?
Ready.
Let's all rise together. Shabbos Kiddush.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei puri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvoto, v'ratzavanu. ושבת קודשו ואהבה וברצון הנחיל לנו זיכרון למעשה וראשית כי הוא יום תחילה שבת.
Now, you have to understand that Canterbury is, if he were a constitutional scholar, he's an originalist, you see. He's always looking for the original melodies of things. So the next prayer is called Alainol. It was originally a high holiday prayer. It was written in the 3rd century by the great Rabbi Rav, who was the founder of the great Babylonian Talmudic tradition. The melody that you all know, Alainol, is a German melody that was written by a very boring German composer. So Canterbury went looking for the original melody, and he found it. Somewhere in the middle of Mesopotamia, there is a 2,800-year-old man who taught it to
Bo
him.
Diddley.
Well, Rabbi Bo Diddley to you. Rabbi, right. So, Shalom Bo Diddley is what it is. And this is how Rav, the great Babylonian scholar of the 3rd century, sang the prayer. Mesopotamian melody, for sure.
Bravo.
Even in moments of great joy, we take a moment to remember those who have gone before us. The words of the mourner's Kaddish found on page 52. We invite those who recite the Kaddish in memory of loved ones, observance of yahrzeit, to please remain standing. Anyone else may please be seated. This week we join with Jews around the world in remembering those who were taken in terrorist acts in Eretz Yisrael. Today, 3 young men were taken simply for being out one night celebrating together, taken randomly and evilly. We remember them, hold their families in our hearts, pray that the wounded come to recovery very soon, pray that their families somehow find peace in the embrace of their people and in the idealism that these young men stood for. Page 52, Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, v'yalmad yivrach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon v'yomechon, uv'chayetech al Beit Yisrael, b'agalau v'zman kariv v'yimru amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mevarach le'olam ol maya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnasei, v'yithadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shemei dekudsha brichu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma v'yimru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. Please be seated. We want to thank all of you for coming tonight to share Shabbos with us. It's very pleasant, and it was hot outside, so thank you for braving the heat to come on out. Thank you to the wonderful Rimonim band, to Cantor Phil Barron.
I want to thank Daniel Feldman and
Feldman, our
welcome
new
here.
drummer.
He's only been here once before, and that was kind of last minute. So tonight, officially welcome Daniel Feldman.
Wonderful.
And what a pleasure it is. He's from Mexico City. If any of you are from down there that way, come and say hello, or come and say hello anyway.
Welcome. And Maestro Asher Levy. Wonderful, beautiful. Thanks so much. What's this?
It's the mandolin.
Oh, okay. And just a mandolin. Yeah. Just a couple of quick announcements. Tomorrow morning, Torah study at 9 o'clock will be online, Facebook and YouTube. At 10 o'clock, we daven Shachrit together, read Torah, we learn together. That's 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. Tomorrow evening at 6 o'clock, Mincha Mariv here in the synagogue as well as online. Sunday services just online, 8:30 in the morning and 6 o'clock at night. And then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, 7:30 in the morning, 6 o'clock in the evening. Wednesday evening, we're doing a preparation for Pesach. If you want to come and learn a little bit with me, we're going to be talking about the secrets of the Seder. Turns out the rabbis have coded all sorts of really interesting secrets and the words and the melodies of the Seder. If you'd like to learn about them so you can bring them to your Seder table and wow your family and friends, 7 o'clock will be on Zoom, YouTube, and Facebook, so come and join us. Everyone, of course, is invited to that. On Friday morning, those of us who are firstborn are obligated to fast for that day in celebration and commemoration and solidarity with the firstborn of Egypt. However, if we do some learning together, you can have some breakfast. So we're going to have a Siyum Bechorim, a Siyum service. It'll start at 7:30. We'll do a little learning together, and then we're all going to adjourn to the House of Pancakes for our last chumetz stick meal. You burn your chumetz before 11 o'clock on Friday morning. You sell it before 12 o'clock on Friday. You don't eat anything from 12 o'clock until dinner time. That's the custom. Friday afternoon at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, we're going to broadcast a Tot Seder, a little Seder program of stories and songs and games and puppet show that Cantor Barron and I are putting together. So if you have little ones, bring them to the computer, the TV, sit them down. They'll have a great time for about 45 minutes. For those who would like some help with their Seder, I'm going to lead a Zoom Seder. Yes, it's true. A Zoom Seder on Friday night at 6 o'clock. So all you got to do is put your TV or your computer on. So we wish everybody a really pleasant Pesach. Something I forgot to announce, every year we have had a contest for the most interesting Passover product, and we haven't done it for a couple of years because of COVID. But in the old days, we once gave the award out to Kosher for Passover Linguine. We gave the award out for Haroset flavored ice cream. We gave the award out for gefilte fish flavored gummy candies. 1 year it was a non-food item. 1 year was your son won it. He found me an ad for a toilet seat cover that looks like matzah. And you put it over your toilet seat and it says, "Let my people go." I mean, only Jews would come up with this. So if you find a product that is Passover, for Passover, and you say, "Oh my God, the rabbi's going to love this," snap a picture with your phone, shoot it to me, and you too can enter the Passover Product Hall of Fame. And if Will Smith doesn't slap you, you'll get it. So please, send me some good products this year. I've seen a couple of, somebody sent me an ad for kosher for Passover hot dog buns. No, because, Dodgers, tonight was opening day for the Dodgers. So how are you going to eat your Dodger dogs next week? Except for kosher for Passover Dodger dog? Gay vase, I don't know. Anyway, it's been wonderful. Thank you to everybody. Let me wish you all a good Shabbos. Let's all stand up. Wish each other Shabbat Shalom. For those who are guests here, welcome. It's delightful to have you here. Thanks for being here. Let's do something, fellas. And how many there?
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
This is great. It was really fun, wasn't it?
Smile if I hit it right. Is her name Mandelbaum? The new candidate?
Thank you. Shabbat Shalom.
Mazel tov.